Nobody chasing the truth.
So Pat McAfee basically comes out and apologizes to Jimmy Kimmel for Aron Roger's comments. You know, for all you that don't know, Aron Roger indicated that he felt that Jimmy Kimmel would be on the Epstein flight logs. You know, I already knew this was going to happen because McAfee's boss owns ESPN. He also owns Disney. And this was bound to happen. Must be pretty serious because McAfee is in a regular shirt today, a collared shirt, instead of his usual tank top. So let's let him talk and we'll get into the video.
Thank you now for joining us here on this glorious Trenches Wednesday, which will include JJ White in the second hour. Not sure there'll be any threatened lawsuits with that one coming today from JJ Watt's conversation, but
Never know. Might have a bone to pick.
You never know.
which is the thing. It's tough. Whenever you're freewheeling and dealing in here, you know, and you're having conversations,
Letting it fly.
they can certainly lead to some places that cause like international news and things like that. And whenever there's accusations made about people, that can lead to lawsuits. Now, listen, I've been in one before.
Yes.
With Brett Favre. Now, how'd that case end? Well, it ended with me having to read a letter basically stating that I know nothing that anybody else doesn't know publicly already. That I'm not in the know for that whole thing. And then that was kind of disappeared, but that was a big thing for a long time.
Yeah.
How did that come? Well, we just started making jokes about stuff. We started talking shit about stuff. And then our show, I think that is a good part of what we...
See, I got a real problem with Jimmy Kimmel. You know, Jimmy Kimmel goes on his show. He talks about Trump. He talks about Trump's kids. Talks about Trump's wife. Insults Trump nonstop. And Jimmy Kimmel finally got a taste of his own medicine, right? He is in cahoots with all these types of people, Tom Hanks and all the people on the flight logs. So you are who you associate usually, right? You are who you associate with usually. You know, you are the company you keep. And you know, I don't really want to get political because this is about sports. But if you ever really want to make a liberal's mind explode, all you have to do is repeat their behavior or repeat what they do or say, and they literally lose their minds.
We do is we're able to kind of just roll with the punches. We're able to have a good time. We're all rather invested and studied in what's happening around the sports world at all times. Caitlin Clark last night.
Hell yeah. Unreal.
Wait till you hear about Luke Littler today.
Oh, good.
So we are very much in that world. So everybody that comes on the stage has to be able to like basically keep up with where we're headed. There's no form. There's no formal outline of what we're going to talk about, how we're going to talk about it. There's no A block, B block, C block. There's no
he's
scheduled
protecting the company.
There's no scheduled debates. There's no topics for you to think about before you get in there. There is just an opportunity.
He's trying to make it clear, like, hey, it wasn't us. We didn't plan on talking about you, Kimmel. It just came up in conversation. I mean, and that's probably true. I'm not ripping McAfee for saying that, but McAfee, excuse me. I'm not ripping him for saying that, but he's got to do what he's got to do.
To talk about damn near everything for 3.5 hours. And in doing so, the upside of that is some magic can come that you never knew was going to come.
Absolutely.
Good times can be had, laughs can be had, especially when you're rolling on like 2 hours of sleep like we were yesterday after the Rose Bowl. You can have a blast. And on the flip side, there could be some things that were certainly probably, I mean, we're going to have to hear from Aron on that, meant to be talk joke that can then become something that is obviously a very serious allegation that then leads to a massive overnight story, one in which put baby down, sleep, haven't seen her in a while, and then I pick up my phone. Oh boy. But I can see exactly why Jimmy Kimmel felt the way he felt, especially with his position. But I think Aron was just trying to talk shit. Now, did it go too far? In a lot of people, Jimmy Kimmel certainly said that was the case. We and I immediately upon it happening, trying to be like, ooh.
Jimmy Kimmel, right? Biggest baby on the planet. If you're conservative, he'll attack your kids. He'll attack your wife. He'll attack your business, that you're a fraud. He'll say all types of things, but he can't take his own medicine. And that's the problem I have with Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel is a punk with a big mouth that has a platform backed by the right people that can't take his own medicine. The guy's a piece of garbage.
You know, but that is Aron and Jimmy. They've been...
Jousting a bit.
I don't know, you know? So, like, we obviously don't...
Nothing irritates me more than people that could dish it out but can't take it. And Jimmy Kimmel should just be making more jokes about this and laughing it off and, you know, coming back at Aron Roger. So, Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't believe that a certain medication should be forced upon the public, and neither do I. I can't mention what it is. We don't want to talk about the Damar Hamlin situation anymore. That conveniently goes out the window. Or all the citizens of the United States that all of a sudden have heart issues or can't get pregnant anymore. We're not going to talk about that, right? Now you're a conspiracy theorist. Now you need a tin hat. Jimmy Kimmel is in those upper elite circles of celebrities and Democrats and elitist liberals. So you are the company you keep. You are the people you hang around with. Isn't that what we're all taught when you're little? You are who you hang out with. You are the company you keep. Right, Jimmy Kimmel?
Don't like the fact that we're associated with anything negative ever. We like our show to be an uplifting one, a happy one, a fun one, but it's because we talk shit and try to make light of everything. Some things, obviously, people get very pissed off about, especially when they're that serious allegations. So we apologize for being a part of it. Can't wait to hear what Aaron has to say about it. Hopefully those two will just be able to settle this, not court-wise, but be able to chit-chat, move along. Because remember, you're allowed to disagree with people's opinions. You're allowed to say, like, oh, I don't... You sound dumb. The more and more you talk, you sound dumber and dumber. And then you're allowed to just move on. That's the beautiful thing about like a football locker room that I was very lucky to experience. Grew up in a soccer world, played a lot of sports, obviously. But then whenever you get dropped into a football locker room, you realize quickly, damn, there's a guy from Compton here. And there's a guy who grew up with $100 million right there. There's a guy from South Florida here. And then there's a white trash guy from the hills of West Virginia or North Carolina in here. Do you think they're all going to have the same view?
McAfee, did you really have to go there with the white trash guy because you grew up in the hills of West Virginia? I mean, really, dude? Do you always got to, mock yourself, in some derogatory way to make everybody feel better about themselves? It's kind of pathetic in a way.
Views on life? No, they came up in much different backgrounds. They have much different people influencing their thoughts and opinions and reasoning.
Because after all, if you live in a mountain in a cabin and you chop down trees or whatever you do, that you're considered white trash, right? You could be an attorney, you could be come from money and still be complete trash. So your job and where you live have nothing to do with being a garbage human being. I've seen garbage human beings from all walks of life, of every ethnicity, of every race, of every religion, of every background. People need to stop trying to put labels on everything
for why they feel the way they feel. But whenever you get in that locker room, talk, you're an idiot, you're dumb, we move forward, we got to win a game. We're also going to go hang out. Man, I had never seen anybody do that before. Us, you whites, you know what you got? That is the beautiful thing about it. So, with all that being said, can understand why Jimmy got incredibly pissed.
Yeah, definitely.
Completely understand that, especially with his position. But also...
I know McAfee's forced to say this, right? I know he's forced to put both sides. But when you watch Jimmy Kimmel's show and the things that he says about Trump, and then he goes after his kids, and then he goes after Barron, and he goes after anybody that's conservative, Jimmy Kimmel's a punk, right? That hides behind his microphone. And for once he gets called out on his garbage, and now he's crying. Right? He's crying, it wasn't right. It sounds so familiar.
So I think Aaron is like, hey, this guy has said some stuff about me, in his monologue. He's just trying to talk. I don't think he meant anything else, but he's going to have to clarify that. For us, we would like to just continue to be a place where people can escape life. In that moment, we didn't, for a lot of folks and a lot of reasons. We shall move on.
Now, I do like McAfee's show, and I agree with what he said. He does keep it light. He does keep it fun. I rip McAfee from time to time. He's not made for play-by-play. He needs to clear his throat. I mean, I'm sure that's just his voice. Some guys have that voice, like Tony Romo. When Tony Romo's on, I'm sorry, I got to turn the volume off on the game. McAfee is not made for play-by-play, especially on the field when it's noisy in the background, like at the Rose Bowl. You couldn't even hear him. Between the scratchy voice and the noise, it was terrible. Now, that's not his fault. That's the company's fault. So I'll rip him for that, but I love his show. I think he does a great job on the show. I like AJ Hawk on the show. I like how they bring on certain guys. I might rip AJ Hawk's haircut, but that's, whatever. No big. I'm sure they would have a lot to say about my personality and my hair too. But my issue is Jimmy Kimmel being a punk that he is, and that's what he is. He's a punk. Nobody needed to apologize to him whatsoever. Again, this is the same guy that goes on a show night after night after night and calls anybody that supports Trump rednecks and idiots and, wear tinfoil hats. Like, he could dish it out, but he can't take it.